Welcome back to Turf Talk, 2-year-old summer racing edition, alongside the P-Patch prognosticator, Joe Kristufek. I'm Ed DeRosa, and Joe, how's Ellis Park been?
It's been great. It's been everything most people told me it would be. It's been warm, as expected, but the racing's been great. It's been competitive day in and day out. The 2-year-old program, leading up to the two-year-old stakes in a few weeks has been solid, and very bettable races day in and day out.
And bettable sequence on Friday, a $10,000 pick 5 carryover, which I sort of like when these fall on big race days elsewhere, because I feel like the money that otherwise would show up might not be there, and you get an even bigger overlay. Not sure how much you've looked at the card, but certainly something I'm going to be looking at and getting involved in.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been interesting in these sequences, and that's why we have a carryover. Inevitably, there's been a bomb somewhere, and sometimes a horse that you can't get to. But you can get to them if you use that, friendly all button,
right,
or if you spread in a race where you think there might be chaos. That's how you're going to hit something like that.
Yeah, I've definitely found in races where I'm totally against the favorite and then have no other strong opinion, that's where I want to use all. And then there are some races where I have a strong opinion, like, look, do I want to spend $4, $8, $16 covering a horse I really think has no chance? And that lets you maybe use another horse elsewhere. And because all button can be sort of lazy too sometimes, because you think, oh, I'll just take all. But sometimes there really are horses you don't want to spend money on.
And then 7.5 times out of 10, the 2-to-1 favorite beats you.
Yeah,
when you have the all button.
Right.
You're still alive, but you kind of feel stupid afterwards.
Yeah. Well, with the carryover, though, that's sometimes mitigated in the pick 5, adding an extra race. So definitely going to get involved, but impossible to ignore Saratoga as well. Opens on Friday, 2-year-old racing, stakes racing on Friday and Saturday. You told me you had some thoughts.
Well, there's horses that are going to be invading from Churchill, right?
Right.
And a lot of times, there's a strong East Coast bias, and these horses sometimes get overlooked. Even if they're coming from Steve Asmussen's barn or Dale Roman's barn,
Yep,
you're maybe going to get a tick or two higher than you normally would, in an everyday race, particularly if they were running Kentucky. I think Laudation's got a great chance in the filly race, very highly regarded. She went off at 4-5 in her debut at Churchill and didn't win, but then came back and won impressively. And then Free Drop Billy, who was very impressive for Dale Romans at Churchill in the boys race, rates a big chance as well. I got a feeling he's going to be a little bit more alive, though, because there's been a little bit of chatter I've seen about him on Twitter.
Well, and when he unleashed those two, and I think it was the same day.
Attack, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of buzz. So looking forward to seeing how that pans out. Last question on the 2-year-olds. I know you're a big replay guy. Anything specific to juvenile racing that you really hone in on more than you would, say, a turf route for older horses, to use the opposite extreme?
Great question, and I have a good answer, and I think it's something that people should pay a lot of attention to. First-time starters that break slowly and lose 5 or 6, 7 lengths at the start of the race, make a big move and then flatten out. A lot of times when these horses break more alertly, they show better speed, they're in the race, and then they finish. We saw a 22-to-1 shot win at Ellis Park with that kind of profile off the debut. So the experience means a lot. A lot of people talk about second-time starters, but those sneaky good second-time starters that broke badly in the debut, that break a lot better in their second start, can often offer overlay value. So
yeah, and a lot of times the second time, like we don't, the one you mentioned in the spinaway, or excuse me, the Schuylerville, who was 4-5 on debut, we already sort of know they thought she could run. So
exactly.
that the sneaky, bad start, but still made a move. It's a great point. So, well, we'll look for those at Ellis and elsewhere, and appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, looking forward to the rest of the summer. You've got the Arlington Million coming up. We're going to both be at Arlington Park for that. Always a great occasion. Summer at Del Mar, summer at Saratoga.
Yep.
Underway, so to speak. This week already with Del Mar, and this weekend at Saratoga. And Ellis Park racing, great all the way through Labor Day as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And then Kentucky Downs, and then back here at Churchill. So never ending, but always fun.
Time flies when you're having fun, and it's just a continuous cycle in horse racing where there's always something to look forward to.
All right, well, we'll look forward to hopefully your picks doing well this weekend and me cashing the pick 5, and we'll be back next week with another Turf Talk.